Should we start with a cheers?
Probably.
All right.
They're plastic cups, so they don't cheers. They don't clink very well.
That's okay. Welcome to the Fifth Wheel Podcast. I'm Hannah.
I'm Sydney.
And cheers. Very anticlimactic.
We're clinking our glasses, but they're plastic.
So are we clinking our plastics? Because they're not glass. That would make them glasses.
Well, but it's still technically a glass.
It's a cup.
Whatever. Semantics. Potato, potato. Anyways, welcome back to the Fifth Wheel Podcast, folks.
Welcome back. This weekend was Bahrain.
Yep. Week 2 of the first triple header of the season.
I was like, this is week 4. Where have
you
week
4,
been?
but week 2 of the first triple header.
Makes sense.
Triple headers are always really scary.
Yeah, it's like they don't get a break, and so I think by the end, their mental sanity is like just like going downhill.
But I feel like normally triple headers are 3 weeks of pure chaos.
Yeah.
And last week was such an uneventful F1 race weekend that it was almost as if it was a double header and not a triple. But anyways.
Yeah. I think this weekend will be interesting.
Saudi? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's like a revelation type of sentence. I'm sure this next week will be interesting.
But I mean, that's
also
what people
feel like us to commentate on.
Right. But I feel as though that's just F1 in general.
Yeah.
Is sometimes races like Japan, which are historically super interesting, have a whole lot going on, are literal races that could have been emails. And then sometimes but Bahrain, I think it's usually a pretty solid race.
Yeah.
And it was a good race weekend.
It was a great race weekend. A lot happened, but something happened at the start of the race weekend that we need to talk about, even though I know you don't want to talk about it. Should I say it?
Sorry, I was trying to disassociate there.
Yeah. I'm not going to let you do that. I'll keep you right here.
So, you know how I'm just going to talk right to the camera here now.
I'm not here.
How lots of teams do giveaways, random. Sometimes it's for race weekend trips, little meet and greets. Well, so I have the Williams app, and I sign up for everything that they put out. I remember in the off season they did like a 12 days of giveaways basically. I didn't win anything. Most of the time I don't, but I sign up anyway on the off chance that I win. So, catch me surprised when Thursday afternoon, I get an email, subject, congratulations, you won, from Williams Racing Fan Appreciation. I am at work, and my heart rate skyrockets because I'm like, holy shit, what do you mean? Huh? I won? What did I win? And so I read this, and so some of the race weekends, Williams have been doing these virtual meet and greets. So it would have been a big Zoom with a whole bunch of other people, but I was going to be on there.
Yeah.
And I'm reading this email, and it said, your RSVP has been accepted, and you'll be able to join starting at 2:10 Bahrain time, basically, or 9:10 a.m. Eastern. I assume this means Friday, because mind you,
when did you get the email?
I got this email 2:40 p.m. Thursday. Mm-hmm. But there's no date on this email, which I thought was interesting. So then I texted Hannah and Shelby, and I was like, guys, you know how I always sign up for these things and I never win? And then we were all really, really excited for my hopes and dreams to just to completely be blown to pieces. So it turns obliterated. Out, want to know when this event was? Thursday morning. You want to know when I got the email?
Thursday afternoon.
Yeah. So I was literally just so happy. And then what do you mean? What do you mean I finally win something? For that event to have been after I got the email. But then I looked, because I told you.
I told you to read
my
it.
Email. Like, I usually check my email a couple of times a day, just because I hate the notification, so if I don't need the email, I delete it. And I remember checking my email that morning. I did not have this email. The email's timestamp was that I received it at 7:42 a.m. You want to know when I didn't get this email?
7:42 a.m.
And on that, Williams, I have a bone to pick with you. Because what do you mean? That was a 30-minute window to calm down, log on to a Zoom, and then just be with Carlos or Alex or both. I don't even know. I don't even know what I won because I didn't get to join because I got the email. I'm so sad. I'm still so sad about it.
I'm mourning for you.
I'm so upset.
Yes. Okay.
I'm so sad.
I would be too. I'm sad for you, so I can't even imagine your disappointment.
And honestly, because had it been Friday, I would have just told you to come work from, because I work from home on Fridays. Mm-hmm. I would have just told you to come work from home with me and we could have joined this thing together.
Yeah.
Obviously. But then, so Hannah had the good idea to go check Reddit, and I do. And it seems as though I am not alone in my sorrow, because there were several people who got it after the event ended who couldn't join the event because the link was buffering. And I'm just sad. Because I even tried to go log on with like a sliver, the smallest of slivers of hope Friday morning that I was going to be able to log on. Because I tried to Thursday afternoon after I had the discovery that I thought that this was on Thursday and not on Friday.
Yeah.
And it said, "Oh, sorry, your event has ended." Well, maybe don't give me the email after the event has ended. But anyways, Williams, if you're watching, I'm sorry I missed it. Please let me win things in the future.
Hey, no. You should not be apologizing that you missed it when you're over here saying, "So Williams, if you're listening, I'm sorry." No. They should be apologizing to you. You've got Williams blue nails and everything. They owe you an apology. If anything,
they are electric blue.
They are. If anything, they owe you a one-on-one meet and greet with Carlos and Alex, with one of your closest friends.
7:42 a.m. And the thing was, I didn't leave my apartment for work until 8:15 that day. I could have joined.
Yep.
I could have.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have this gosh-forsaken email. And now I'm just going to be sad.
So that's Williams. That's a Williams update.
That's how the race weekend started.
It was a great beginning to the race weekend. We were all so happy.
We were. And then we were all collectively real sad.
Yeah, I told Parker about it. Well, I was texting him. It was funny. So I was texting Parker and I was like, dude, like, you know those giveaways? And I'm like sending these texts individually. And I know that I'm hoping that he's not on his phone so that he can read them all at once. But he's on his phone.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, Sydney won. And he goes, oh my God, that's so cool. And I'm like, wait, but. And he goes, oh no. So yeah, collective sad for Sydney. Throw an L in the chat for Sydney.
Honestly, it just. And I was talking with my coworker bestie, Kelsey. I said, this is really just truly my luck. I finally win something only to get the email after the event has ended. Because what is that?
That's your luck.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a Sydney thing that would happen.
It's real sad. But anyways, enough about my sorrows. So, Williams, if I catch you,
it's on site.
I'll still go to all of your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I did get to meet Alex at Home Depot in Pflugerville.
Yeah, you do have that one. Now you just have to meet Carlos at a Lowe's.
Honestly, I'm for it.
Yeah. All right, well, what happened this weekend? A lot.
Yeah.
So I only have a couple notes from here's the thing. I watched FP2 and then I logged on for the race. I didn't watch anything in between. So I have a couple notes from FP2 that I just thought were a little silly.
Was that the steering wheel?
Yeah, when Alonso was he was driving on the track. And then he just takes the steering wheel off.
It just came off.
Yeah, and then he puts it back on, but he's still moving. It's not like he's
this man is actively driving.
Yeah, he just drives off into the dirt, but he's driving and then just steering wheel off.
The steering wheels, yes, they come off, but they're not supposed to come off while
While
the driver
moving.
is actively driving.
No. So that happened. That was funny.
Yeah.
And then
Not much happened in, I don't think, in FP3.
I was gonna say Esteban Ocon asked for like a little mini spoiler on his helmet because of the wind. It was like lifting it up.
Oh,
And I thought that was kind of funny. I was just like, oh, they put like a little. Did they just put a little spoiler on his head?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Because of the lift. I thought it was so funny. He asked for a mini spoiler, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Aw."
I will say qualify. Yeah, I think it was pretty standard free practices. Qualifying was good though.
Yeah.
It was I really enjoyed it. There were a couple of wonky things. So Alex got knocked out in Q1, but I think he had a lockup. So he lost a little bit of time and missed Q2 by thousandths of a second.
As one does.
And we find out in the middle of Q3 that one of, oh my gosh, what's his name? Nico Hulkenberg, one of his lap times got deleted from Q1, and he shouldn't have made it to Q2.
Oh.
And had that come out when it was supposed to, Alex would have made it to Q2.
But it didn't.
But it didn't, so he was out.
Once again, Williams.
And we'll just go right on with the Williams train. Carlos made it to Q3 for the first time this season, which I was texting Shelby about it, and we were both just really excited to see because, I mean, anytime a driver changes teams, there's a learning period with the new car. No F1 car is built the same as another team's F1 car.
No.
And so it just was really. I think I remember seeing the radio message of after he found out he got, because I think he ended up P8.
Something like that.
I think, or something around those. Nonetheless, Q3.
Q3!
And just Williams being super supportive. And I remember they had James Bowles? What? Williams team principal. He who shall not be named.
Sorry.
And they had him as, the person on the pit wall that they were talking to all weekend. And I remember Crofty, one of the Sky Sports commentators, asked James about it. And he's like, Carlos, he's still getting used to the car. They said we like what we've seen from him so far. And, not that as a fan, I felt like I needed that validation that he's okay. But it was just comforting to know that even the team principal is like, we know he changed teams. He's still getting used to it. We're not expecting him, like Red Bull, to just be lights out right out of the gate.
Yeah. Well, it's like the I had secondhand Are You Mad at Me?
Right.
Yeah, I love the licking the salt. We are drinking, side note, we're drinking ranch waters.
With a salt rim.
And there's always that video that's like POV, you're telling me something really serious and important, but there's a salt rim. They just yeah. And so it's the secondhand Are You Mad at Me? Yeah, like are you mad? Do you still like me? Are you gonna fire me? I just got here. I know I haven't finished like 2 of the races, but like, are you mad at me?
Right.
Yeah.
No, for real. And so it was just comforting to know that even, not that I didn't expect Williams to be behind Carlos. I mean, you saw it in Drive to Survive and everything that, I mean, even on their own posts that they've been really excited about Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
I think him and Alex, and I expected them to be a really good pair, but I'm finally glad that Williams has 2 solid drivers.
Yeah.
I think we've touched on it in a couple episodes, but
yeah,
it's been Alex and somebody.
Have you seen Alex and Carlos's podcast?
Yes. Isn't it the Williams podcast? But
yes, I forgot the name of it.
Torque something? Is it
something torque
in the name? I wanted to say Full Torque, but that's Full Throttle. I'm combining things that aren't combinable.
We'll figure it out. But so you know what it is? They have their own Fifth Wheel podcast.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say Torqued Up, but I know that's not right.
No. I mean, that'd be hilarious.
It would be funny.
Williams, take notes. And also, another note.
Fix your damn giveaways.
Fix your email giveaway. Yeah, please. Thank you. Anyways. But no, I was like, they have their own little Fifth Wheel. They must be copying us.
You're so right.
They're copying us. It's fine.
But yeah, no.
We're not
I
going to
mean,
sue for intellectual
no.
property.
But it was other than that, it was a good qualifying. Pierre, Alpine, P5.
What's Polar Bear doing in Arlington, Texas?
For real. Max, P7. And Lando, P6. So it was an interesting, both.
Once again.
Yeah, Oscar put it on pole. Charles,
Yeah.
I think, he was P3. George was P2, but then they got a grid. Him and Kimmy both got a one-place grid penalty, I think, for impeding each other or whatever. I don't remember.
Which is so interesting.
It was, and they explained it, but I didn't pay that much attention to it.
I just want to see cargo room.
I just want to see cargo room.
But that was great.
Sorry.
And so, you're good. May I move on to the race?
You may.
Okay, I was going to say, like, if you're just busy drinking, I could just take over for a minute if you wanted to slurp some more.
Well, my mouth didn't get around the straw the whole way, and so there was too much. Anyways,
Yeah, I know
your
what
girl's
happened.
having issues.
She has issues.
I got issues.
I know the rest of the song, but I forgot how it goes.
I don't know the next line. I just know because I got issues.
You got him too. So give him on to me, and
Oh,
I give
we
mine
both got
to you.
issues. Aww. Twins.
What was that?
I was gonna go like E.T. But not with your weird feather.
I like this feather.
Anyways.
On to the race. We are at the starting lineup. Formation lap has happened. And then I can do it. No, just give me a second. It's just so funny. So like, when you were in elementary school or even middle or high school and you're like about to walk out of class and there's that kid that's like, "Miss, you forgot the homework." And then everyone's like, "Hey, what?" So that happened, and you want to know who did that? It was Max Verstappen, and this is not the first time that he has tattletaled on Lando, specifically Lando. So like, think back to towards the end of last season, it's like, oh, he didn't brake for the yellow flag, and even though it was like a millisecond, and then there's just been so many. So Max, he comes onto his radio. In the video, you see him. He looks over, kind of double takes, and then he goes, "Lando's over his grid box."
And then he had immediately hit the radio button the second he noticed.
And he didn't even say it like I said it. He was like, "Lando's over his grid box."
Like, he could not get the words out fast enough.
Yeah.
It was, the video of his onboard is so funny because you can tell he's just pulled up, he's locked in, glances over, and then, like you said, double takes, hits the radio button.
Lando's over his grid box. And to be fair, Lando was not just like a little over his grid box. Lando was severely
his whole front tires were over the grid box.
Basically almost the whole front.
Yeah, and I think what they had said was he had gotten into position and then I think his car crept forward a little bit. But still, I mean, and it was one of those, McLaren was he was over the grid box. Whoops. Yeah. And so I think he got a 5-second time penalty.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny because there are all the memes of, you've got Agent George of like him trying to solve or figure out all these weird F1 things. And so now we got Agent George and Snitch Max.
Yep.
And it just is so funny because you're so right. It's the excuse me.
Lando's over his grid box.
Lando's over his grid box.
Lando's over his grid box.
Do you see?
Yeah.
And it just...
It's so funny. And then also later in the race, he's trying to overtake. I don't remember if it was Lewis or Charles, but he's trying to overtake, and he overtakes outside the racing line.
Yeah.
And there was another, it wasn't Max, but someone was like, he overtook outside the racing line. Like, he is like, I feel like he's like the kid that in class that like, he just can't do anything right.
He's the scapegoat.
He's the scapegoat. It's like, he did this.
And it's, excuse me.
And I think it doesn't help that at least towards the beginning of the season, everyone was like, this season's World Driver Championship is going to be between Max and Lando. So everyone's like, Lando did something, Max did something, right? Even though I don't think Max has done anything, it's really just Lando. But Lando did something.
And I just, it's just so funny because I think because it happened between Max and Lando specifically. But it just, Max does not, Max right now, I don't think I have ever liked Max more. He has been on one. And it's that man, I feel like they forgot that he should or maybe like do a little more media training because it's like that man is answering these questions like he's a rookie.
Why does he need media training?
I mean, he doesn't because I love him the way
his
that he
answers
is.
are perfect.
It's just I'm going to tell it like it is. My answer's going to be funny sometimes and I don't give two shits if you like my answer.
Mm-mm.
There was the one that I showed you where they were asking him, I think it was in the driver's parade, of because Bahrain is typically like a high tire degradation track.
Yeah.
And the interview person goes, "You said that your car often does well on high deg tracks." Max just goes, "Used to."
Mm-hmm.
And it's just answers like that. I mean, that man,
he's honest.
He's so, and it just, I am apologizing to past Max when I thought that I didn't like him because that's what Drive to Survive made me think. And I'm no.
Well, the thing about Max too is like he's not like Lance Stroll. He's not like there's just a lot of people. Who am I like not thinking of right now? He's not like Lance Stroll and he's not like George Russell, who when they do something wrong, they kind of double down and they're like, "Well, no, I really didn't do that wrong," or like they don't call things out even if they're not sure it happened, or they'll still be like, "Oh, well, like, like they won't." I don't know. Max doesn't call anything out unless he's like 100% sure. He tells it like it is. And I can really, really admire that for him. And that makes him very trustworthy to me, just from like his opinion and his experiences standpoint. Like, for example, with the George Russell stuff, he has always been super honest about things. And George Russell, we know, has not always been like, maybe not the most, I don't want to say not the most honest, but like, he can be a little bit of a diva. We acknowledge that. He's our Mercedes diva.
And he's sometimes, I think, hesitant to admit that what he thought wasn't necessarily the case.
Yes. And so when all the George and Max stuff came out, I'm going to believe Max. I don't know about you. And George kind of threw his own little fit about it. And Max was I think his delivery is also different. Like, he doesn't seem like he's trying to convince anyone of anything. He's like, this is my experience and I didn't like it.
And I think, too, that this is the first season since we've both gotten into the sport where Red Bull's honestly struggling.
I cannot believe I'm witnessing the downfall of Max Verstappen in real time.
Right. And it's not even, it's one of those, if Max was in the McLaren right now, it'd be the 2023 season all over again.
Oh, 100%.
But it's just so funny because everyone knows what Max is capable of. I mean, hell, you saw it last weekend.
Yep.
But it just is so funny because it's like his filter, it's not that it's never been off before. I think we're just seeing Max in a car that is struggling, and I think people are still treating him like he should be winning all the time. And no. The car is not, he can only do as good as the car. Yes, he's Max Verstappen, but he can only do as good as the car will let him do.
And he hasn't really had a reason to talk badly about the car and stuff until now. So I don't think he ever was just holding back. I think he's just never had anything to say until now.
Man, did he get beat to hell this race.
Oh, yeah. He got passed so many times.
And George.
Yeah. Oh,
so
can we talk about George? Oh, princess. Where are you, princess?
Yeah. Okay. So George Russell, this man, if it could go wrong, it did.
Murphy's Law.
Genuinely.
George Russell's Law.
George Russell's Law, if it could go wrong and you somehow still finish the race, it goes back to, it's the same meme of like your tires cannot degrade without your consent. Your car cannot slow down with a broken front wing without your consent. George Russell, your car cannot retire without your consent.
Yes.
Because, what was it? This man, so...
Wheel.
His wheel was wonky.
Steering wheel.
His steering wheel.
Mhm.
Yeah, he had issues. He didn't have DRS for like half the race.
No, they're like, you can't do DRS until we tell you to do it.
Because it was broke, like his sensor was broken or something. And then I'm watching this race, and we're watching a battle between two other drivers. All of a sudden, so the live timing, you usually sometimes see a driver fall down the standings before you may see a red flag or a yellow flag. All of a sudden, you see George, and he's riding P2, P3 consistently. He just drops down the leaderboard. And I said, excuse me, what the hell? Why aren't we talking about this? And then all of a sudden you hear the commentators pick up on the fact that George is now at the bottom of the abyss, i.e. P20. And they said, so George Russell's still in P2.
Yeah.
And this was when we find out that he's got what is it called? A transponder or whatever. Basically whatever picks up and like pings the location of the F1 cars wherever they're on track.
His GPS not working.
His GPS said no.
Yeah, his Find My Friends was off.
No, for real.
His Find My Friends actually was not off. It was on, and he threw it out the window.
in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, it was gone.
And so, because normally you've got your live timings, and this tells you, Hannah and I are driving. She's P2, I'm P3. The gap is 1.4 seconds. Oh, no, I got a little closer. The gap's 1.3 seconds.
You are beating me. You said I'm P2 and you're P3. I'm winning.
You are.
Sorry. Continue.
And all of a sudden, that just goes away.
Uh-huh.
My timings.
I can't see without my timings. No, I've gotten so accustomed to
oh my gosh
the timings on the side, and whoever was running like just the TV stuff anyways just did not do a good job this race, because there was a time where I don't remember what happened, but something happened. Someone like hit something, or I don't know, and then the TV was just showing like Kimmy just driving.
Yeah, so there's this girl on TikTok, and she said the Bahrain Grand Prix was some of the worst TV direction I've seen in a while. So many overtakes missed, barely showing Oscar the finish.
Yeah,
barely showing Oscar winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. Not showing Max overtaking Pierre on the last lap.
Nope.
Cutting away when showing overtakes, not showing the timing screens again. It was insane.
It was horrible.
But there's this graphic where it's everybody, all of these little colored dots around track, and George Russell just quite literally out in the middle of the abyss.
Yep.
And so I think they took away the timings because of that issue.
But like,
I don't care.
I don't care. Just
don't make me do math. Don't make me do math.
You're an engineer.
I might be an engineer, but I'm not good at math.
Fair.
My worst grades were in math.
You know what? And that's fair. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
But my timings. I can't see without my
timings. And so that happened to George Russell. His DRS was gone.
There were a couple of
some other things that happened.
I think I screenshotted some of his radio messages.
But you know what? He still finished P2.
Yeah, mind you. Yeah. All of this happens. This man podiumed.
Yeah, so it was Oscar P1, George P2, Lando P3, and someone posted it was a picture of George doing the T pose, and on one side was Lando and on the other side was Oscar, and it was like this.
It was a McLaren sandwich. It was really funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Also, while you're pulling that up and talking a little bit about Oscar finishing, no one even really mentioned Oscar the whole race. He was just kind of like, he pulled a Max Verstappen, he was just ahead.
I think at one point the gap was...
He finished...
was it 14 seconds?
No.
I think it was before the safety car. Maybe.
He finished the race, crossed the finish line, 15.4 seconds ahead of George Russell. 15 seconds.
I was 1.2 seconds off.
Okay, well, you know what? You don't like math, so I thought I'd do that for you. You're welcome. I love you.
Yeah, remember the first episode when I tried to do math? Was that the first episode?
Yes, you're like, it's been what,
so
like
wrong.
7 years, and it was like 18 years or something. Yeah, that's how that went. But no one mentioned Oscar.
No.
And I was sitting there like...
It was frustrating, honestly.
Yeah, Oscar's... I've mentioned this every episode probably now. He is my second favorite driver, like, and just like quickly became that. And I was like sitting there like ecstatic. Like, oh my God, Oscar's winning. This is great. He's going great. And no one talks about it.
Well, and it was, I swear it was as if it was whoever was directing the cameras. It's like it was their first race. Because traditionally we'd be watching an overtake battle and then they would just cut to somebody else. I remember vividly during the race. I think it was the Lando Charles battle,
Okay.
which, mind you, was great.
Mhm.
Charles Leclerc held off Lando for 16 some odd laps, and it was some damn good defense on Charles's part. Lando did eventually get around him, but not for lack of Charles trying.
No.
It was simply McLaren had the pace and they finally got around Charles.
Yeah.
But then, so I think we're watching that battle, and then it just cuts to somebody else. But then by the time we came back, an overtake had already happened, and it was so frustrating.
It was rough. It was rough. But it was still a fun race.
No, it was. I mean, Ferrari.
Can I say one more thing about Oscar before we go? Before we move on, not before we go. We're not finishing the episode here, unless you just feel like, bye. That's it. There's also this meme that I thought was the funniest thing ever, and it's that meme that's like, you can't defeat me, and then the other person's like, I know, but he can. And it's the person that's saying, you can't defeat me, it's Lando. Lando goes, you can't defeat me. And Max goes, I know, but he can. And it points to just a picture of Oscar going like...
No, I think this is a really good time to talk about it. Because I think I told you when we were talking pre-podcast, I was talking with my coworker Matt today. And I again, early in the season, a lot could happen. But I think just if we were to base the season off these first couple of races, I think it's Lando's championship to lose and Oscar's to win.
Yep.
Because I genuinely, if you were going to tell me that a McLaren is going to win the championship this year, I probably would have put money on Lando.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the more experienced driver. He's kind of McLaren's baby. Even though, you know, they have their whole, we have 2 number 1 drivers.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
No, for real. That was another one I saw. It was Zach Brown was Woody. Or
Andy.
Was Andy, and Lando was Woody being dropped. And it was, I don't want to play with you anymore. It's really funny. But I truly think you know, got to give Zach Brown credit when he said it years ago that they saw something in Oscar and snatched him up. And I think we're seeing that come to fruition. Fruition? Isn't that the word?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, I called this shit years ago. I called it around the time they took Oscar on, and I said, he's going to be World Driver Champion someday. Will say, did not think it would be this season. I thought it would be like at the earliest next season.
Or to be fair, with McLaren.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be with McLaren. I thought he was like, I saw it. I was like, he is, like, his maturity on the track is incredible. He keeps such a level head from his first season. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of was sneaky about it. He would like just do these crazy like things, and they looked so clean. Yeah. Very clean driver and very, I don't know, just great temperament. But anyways, I called that shit. I didn't think it would happen now, though.
I completely agree with you, because I think we saw moments of it, even, you know, as McLaren has been on the up and up. I think we saw these moments where Oscar was just brilliant. Mm-hmm. I think his race IQ is so high, and he's so low key about it. I think you're right. I think he came in so mature for, you know, you usually see a rookie F1 driver, they're a little hot-headed.
Liam Lawson.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, or even think about Max when he first started. Mm-hmm. He was a lot more, I don't want to say reckless, but for lack of a better term, reckless as a driver than he is now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Oscar, not that he hasn't made his mistakes, but they've been a whole lot less noticeable.
Yes.
And I think there's just something about him. I truly think, you know, if it's going to be a McLaren, I think Oscar, not that Lando doesn't have the talent. I think he definitely does, and we've seen that. I think Lando's still struggling with the pressure.
I think Oscar is wise beyond his years.
Yes.
And I think that like you said, with Lando, the pressure, and because of that, Oscar kind of doesn't have it. And so he's like, I'm just going to do my thing. And
it's
then
almost
it works.
I've got nothing to lose, might as well go for it.
Right, exactly. And he
does it so smartly.
Yeah. Intelligently. Smart. He does it so smartly, guys.
Whatever.
It's okay.
Words are hard.
No, I didn't mean to make fun of you there. But no, he
it's
does.
okay.
He makes very informed decisions, and he tells I mean, all of the drivers tell their race engineers when they don't agree with something.
Yes.
But he does it in a way that, like, I think it just goes back to how level-headed he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that he doesn't really get flustered, and when he does, it doesn't affect his driving. You know?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, you can tell when they're getting flustered and frustrated, and they're snipping at their race engineers and this and that when they don't agree with something, and it kind of shows in their driving. Like, you can tell they're getting a little frustrated. Oscar, I think one of them was like, oh, it was the first or second race of the season. Second race, not first. I just remember that. First race was a shit show. Second race of the season, they were like, please hold this positioning. And Oscar goes, I mean, I have pace, but okay. Like,
yeah,
he says it just like that. He's
move
like,
of a world champion, that one.
Yeah, like when the last race of the season, like in their shot at the constructors, and he gets moved to last immediately instead of freaking out.
Champion, that one.
And
then comes back and still finishes in the points.
Yes, and they won.
And it just, so I'm with you. I mean, Oscar, he snuck up as one of my just like up there favorites.
I love him.
He has been so fun to watch drive. I mean, I think you said you summed it up pretty well. Like his driving style, I think you're right. That kind of maturity upon, greater than his years of experience. And it has been fun to watch him. And I am excited to see how this plays out with, I mean, it's far too early for McLaren to make any kind of decision. And I don't think that they'll do it until it's almost too late, like they did last year.
Yeah. But also, so Oscar, wise beyond his years, we've talked about this, but then he gets out of the car. He's like the most awkward guy you've ever seen, in like a sweet way. He's a sweetie pie. But
he's baby girl.
He is my baby girl. I know everyone says Lando's baby girl. Oscar's my baby girl. I will preach that to the choir. But he'll get out of the car and they'll be like, "How are you feeling?" He's like, he's like, he doesn't really smile that much. It's like he's nervous. I think.
Well, and it's almost, I saw a meme today where it was Oscar when something tragic and ruins his race. Oscar when he wins. And just, it's almost the same face, but I feel like as we've seen him win or do good, or I've noticed almost these micro expressions or just these little tells of how he's really feeling. And it's just been really fun. And I'm really excited to see how this season plays out.
Me too. I hope he wins. I'm putting my bets in that it's going to be him and Lando for World Driver Champion. Like, it's going to be their battle.
I think if we reevaluate after our, I
don't want to speak too soon because I love Oscar and I want him to be World Driver Champion, but I don't want to say that now.
Yeah.
And then things go wrong.
I just think,
I'm going to pretend that this is a happy miracle.
I would agree, but I think if we were to take these first couple of races at face value and all right, this is what the rest of the season's going to look like.
Oscar.
I think it's Oscar.
Oscar.
Which
I keep thinking Oscar in like the Kendrick Lamar mustard, but like Oscar.
Oh, okay, I thought we were going Oscar from Shark Tale.
No, like
Tail?
You know how
Shark Tale.
Shark Tale.
Shark Tale. Okay.
It's the beginning of Not Like Us when he goes mustard.
Well, yeah, mustard on the beach.
Oscar.
I caught the reference the first go around.
I just had to do it again.
You did. I'm glad that.
Thank you. I did a great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so
It was just for you.
One of my Ferrari. I think we got to talk about them for a second.
Unfortunately,
it was an odd strategy. It was, but I wasn't necessarily mad at what they tried. Because they put Lewis and Charles on the mediums at the start of the race when everybody else was on softs, basically. And then it at one point looked like they were going to go for the one stop, but then they ended up, everybody I think went for, it was at least 2 stops.
Ferrari's got commitment issues when it comes to strategy.
Yeah, and it was one of those, I think it worked, but not in the way that they planned.
It wasn't like an on purpose that it worked. It wasn't like we planned this to happen and it happened. It was like Oh, that worked. Okay.
they both finished well. I mean, I think it was Charles 4, Lewis, was it Lewis 5 or 6?
I think it was
Somewhere
Lewis.
somewhere in there. But they both finished well. For
Yeah.
a race where in a track where the Ferrari was kind of struggling, they finished well.
Yeah.
But it was just so interesting because I don't think that race worked in the way that they intended, but it still worked. So
Yeah.
they said, you know what? It's fine.
It's fine.
I remember at one point because Charles was mad. Because I think they put on another. The hard tires just weren't really doing well.
Mm-mm.
And I think they put another pair of the hard tires on, and you just hear later Charles comes on the radio and just, this tire sucks. It was the entire radio message. And so I just said, Charles, this tire sucks, Leclerc. And it was just, I love when sassy Charles comes out.
There was another thing that was, he was talking about the tires and he's like, these tires are awful or something, and then
the brakes.
these brakes or something, and then the race engineer goes, nothing we can do about it now.
Not much we can do about it now.
All right,
thanks. And I think that was towards the beginning of the race, and I was like, yep, that checks.
I did want to mention
Carlos.
Eventually. One thing I wanted one thing I wanted to take a note of was random safety car. Why?
Yes. Okay. So it's funny that you said that. I think my note on this is, where is it? Safety car for a ghost?
Also ironic that the safety car was an Aston Martin.
It usually is.
I know, but it's still so funny.
No, it is. I agree. Remember, I don't know if I ever told you this, in 2023, when I left the US Grand Prix, I got stuck in traffic trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while I was next to one of the Aston Martin Pirelli Hot Laps cars.
Oh yeah.
Actually, two of them, the SUV one and then the small one.
When we're talking like non-F1, Aston Martin's a hell of a car.
Yeah, them cars are nice as hell.
Yeah.
I saw one in San Antonio once and I was
Oh, I did. Yeah. We might have seen the same one. I've
Probably.
seen a couple though. I live in a nice area, and so I see a lot of luxury cars around here.
There's a Ferrari dealership
right there
down the road.
I pass it every day.
I know, I pass it every time.
And I'm like,
I swear I'm like breaking my neck to look and see what's out. The time when they had
the baby blue one. I saw a baby blue McLaren with butterfly doors. This was a long time ago. I texted you about it, and it was at HEB curbside pickup, and I had so much time to take a picture of it, but I sat there staring at it. Like I was gobsmacked.
I passed a McLaren in your apartment complex once.
Really?
Yes.
They might have been a visitor because I
think so. It was, if you come in the right entrance, that first building right there, they were in front of somebody's garage.
We've got a couple not McLarens. We've got a couple Corvettes. But I've never seen a McLaren here. That's crazy.
And it was there very briefly. Because when I left, it was all gone. But anyways, we digress.
I was like, cars.
But yeah, so no, I think speaking of the safety car, because nobody crashed.
No.
Nobody crashed. And what I think happened, so I think it was some of the debris from Carlos's car.
Yeah.
And I think the FIA finally kind of did their jobs for once and put a safety car out to clear out some of the debris on track.
But again, the TV director did not show any of this.
No, we did not.
So we're like, why is it out?
There's just a safety car.
They didn't replay it.
And it said safety car for a ghost? ? Debris on track. But still,
we find out after the race that he had like a little bump with Yuki.
Yeah.
Who got P9, by the way.
Which go Yuki. Both the Red Bulls finished in the points for the first time this year,
which is insane. And Liam Lawson is like struggling. Yeah. Yuki, very proud of him, and
he did well.
I had very low hopes for him for that, just because of the second Red Bull seat curse. But he's exceeding expectations. He's
done well, not as good as Max, but he has done better than anybody else in that second Red Bull seat since Checo was doing well. Yep,
exactly. But anyways, safety car, Sainz got hit. He had to retire the car. So fucking cool, guys. So cool. I'm so...
And it was one of those... That was aggressive.
I know, I didn't mean it to be that loud. I'm sorry.
It was one of those... He didn't crash.
No.
So whenever a driver retires because they didn't crash and there's just something wrong with the car, it's almost like an extra just twist of the knife. And it was one of those... Why is he retiring?
And it was so
And
close to the end.
no sooner than I got that thought out or like said that out loud, do they turn the car as they're wheeling it back into the garage, and you see this hole in his side pod where, no lie, I saw
It's like
someone
the
joke,
size of a screen.
you could have fit someone's head through this hole in the side of his car, and
Yeah.
and I said, oh,
It adds up.
my bad.
But like,
Carry on. Because the thing is, if he continues and then heaven forbid some other part gets damaged that they have to replace,
yeah.
you know, I get it from a, you know, I think James came on the radio, he goes, the car's just there's too much damage to keep, you know, for it to make sense to keep going.
Yeah.
Because by that point, he wasn't going to finish in the points. He
No.
was losing too much time because of the gaping hole in the side of his car.
Yeah, so it makes sense. But also, like,
because we were on track to have a 20 driver finish.
Give my man Carlos a break, y'all.
For real. He was finally having a decent weekend.
I know.
But yeah, no. I mean, other than that, Ollie Behrman,
P20 to P10.
that man went from dead last. Mind you, he didn't qualify last. I think they changed his setup. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter. P20 to the points.
And he did not get driver of the day.
Which, what are y'all doing out here with
what
driver
are y'all
of the
doing,
day?
guys? What are y'all doing? Well, I saw this meme. It was so funny. It was like a guy blindfolded throwing a dart
at the dartboard.
and it was like fans choosing driver of the day.
And to people's defense last weekend, who should have gotten it? Who's to say that race was boring as hell?
That race was stupid.
But and because I think Lewis got it, and he went, I think, P9 to P5. Sure, okay. Ollie Behrman went from dead last to the points in a Haas.
In a Haas. I think that's the bigger...
A Haas. Not only that, both Haas's finished in the points.
Which
I think
is
you
crazy.
said that earlier.
What the hell's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas?
Which, go Haas.
Go Haas.
You
Haas.
Haas. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I'll give you that one. But it was so sweet. I saw a video after the race, and it was, they let Ollie's dad and brother on the radio to tell him congratulations, and it was just really wholesome because you see this man's eyes light up the second he hears that it's his dad and his brother. It was just, I'm telling you, him and Isaac, if anybody hurts them, it's on sight. I'm gonna punch you in the throat.
Those, honestly, and Kimmy. All of those rookies.
Not funny, I got school.
It's not funny, I got school.
I saw somebody on Instagram today, and it said, do you think he's gonna go back to his classmates and tell them, like, guys, I overtook Lewis Hamilton?
I feel like he wouldn't. I feel like he'd be shy. Maybe. Not like shy. I think with his friends he'd be a little goofball, but like I think in general.
But it's just so fun.
It is funny. Someone posted a picture of him like in school clothes and one in his F1 outfit, and it's like best of both worlds. Hannah Montana.
I think I sent you that on Teams last week, where it was Kimi Antonelli truly is the Hannah Montana of the F1 world.
He really is.
F1 driver on the weekends.
Except
high school student during the week.
Except everyone knows who he is.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody
has those days. Sorry. What I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way. Yeah.
No. Sorry, I was gonna keep going.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna full Hannah Montana concert.
What's going on with Gabriel Bortoleto though? Like, I mean, like obviously we know
he's
how
in
he's
a stake and they just suck.
Yes, but like in terms of like he hasn't really like shown any personality or anything. But he also just hasn't done anything where they've like
I just don't think we've had any reason to
hear from him.
Yeah. Which I think is unfortunate because from what I've gathered or what I've seen is that I mean, he won F2 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw something else that I think he and Max have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
I saw something where like they do a lot of sim time together. And I think Max truly is kind of a mentor for Gabriel.
He's the mother duckling of all the rookies.
For one, he really is the mother. They follow him.
They follow him like ducklings.
Hamish and his doves.
No, his geese.
No, his little doves from District 6.
Oh, fuck you.
I know. We both finished Sunrise on the Reaping, which, if you're unaware, is the Hunger Games prequel about Hamish's games. we can't talk about it real quick.
Yep.
I sent Hannah a video of me full on sobbing reading the epilogue of this book.
I did that for her too. And
she did.
And I was like, you have to read this. And she was like, do I want to?
Oh, I was going to read it anyway. There was no if.
I
know. I love Haymitch. And getting his backstory, even knowing what was going to happen, the how it happened.
Suzanne Collins, when I catch you.
I think I said that mid-sob.
I think you did. It's so funny.
I sent it to my little today, and she goes, "Not you going. I have to go to work tomorrow."
Oh, I remember that.
I finished this at
like 1 a.m.
It was nearly 1 a.m. on a Sunday night because it got to a point there was no not finishing that book. But anyways, so yeah,
Gabriel Bortoletto, Max Verstappen,
Duckling, but without all of the death.
Yes, correct. But I'm interested to see more from him. Hopefully, I hope that we get to see more from him because I feel bad being like, I love all the rookie, like Kimmy and Isaac and Ollie, and I'm like, and then Liam, like, but like Gabriel, I'm like, I feel like I haven't heard.
And
anything.
I think that's partly just because the stake is just they don't have a good car.
The stakes are low.
The stakes are low.
Thank you.
That was good. And so but it's one of those, I think even if it's until he goes to another team, I see him hopefully being in the sport for several years.
Yeah.
And I can see him getting picked up by a better team.
Yeah.
You have seen a good bit of success of drivers who have, gone through the ranks of F3, F2, F1. I think it was...
Didn't Piastri do that?
Yeah, Oscar and Charles. Yep. I think both won their F2 season and then got brought up to F1.
Yep.
And so I'm hopeful. I hope that we get to see him more. And maybe that's on me for just not keeping up with Stake a whole lot.
Yeah, I think that's also on me. I just don't really look into it enough. And I need to be fair and objective. And I want to see our rookies succeed.
I do.
But it's also painful to see when they don't.
I know.
It breaks my heart.
My poor little babies.
Our babies.
But no, I think overall it was a good... Bahrain was what Japan wanted to be.
Yes, it was a good race, despite George Russell's car being on dial-up and...
No, for real. Like, it's that when you an unknown error has occurred. Okay, an unknown error has occurred. Okay, and it's just pop-up after pop-up.
Doom.
What'd you call? You called it? He was running on dial-up.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
just now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, did you not hear me say that like 30 seconds ago?
No.
I said despite the fact that George's car was on dial-up.
My brain did not comprehend that.
Does not compute.
It's like George Russell's car. I'm running on dial-up.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was a great race. Definitely one of the more entertaining races we've had this season, which is awesome.
There were a lot of overtakes. A lot of good overtakes.
If only we had seen them. Anyways.
We're not bitter about that.
And we're not bitter about Williams not giving you your meeting link.
It's fine.
But you know what? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Great way to end the week. And
it was.
What is next week? Saudi Arabia?
Saudi at noon.
At noon? Oh, that's nice.
Mind you, it's also Easter Sunday.
Oh, fuck. Wait, no, you're right. No, wait. Fuck. Parker's family's coming.
Oh, they are?
For Easter lunch. We're cooking lunch for them. For lunch. Maybe we do brunch and tell them to get here at 10. And then, like, we can turn they'll be here. Like, and they know how I feel about F1. Uh-huh. I don't think...
I was wondering if you didn't realize that because we hadn't quite talked about it yet.
I didn't realize it. I'll just stay off of socials. I'll stay off of everything.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. It's fine.
What is it? It's that wedding or the video of the guy it's it's Aunt Tessie's funeral. But it's the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I can't miss the Grand Prix.
Oh, and it's the 1-year anniversary of Leclerc!
Yes. Saudi Arabia did give us that last year.
I know, I can't wait.
I know. I think it'll be think it'll be a good race. I'm excited. I mean, who knows? We said that about Japan too,
Yeah.
and then that race could have been an email. But nonetheless, I'm excited.
I can't wait to see what happens. I can't say I can't wait to see an exciting race because I don't know if that'll happen. But
but no, I think this season so far has been a bit like we expected, a bit unexpected. And I am very curious to see how this goes.
Okay, well.
But anyways, yeah.
I think we covered everything.
I think so.
I'm gonna make us some mac and cheese and chicken nuggets.
I'm so excited. Are they normal chicken nuggets or
they're
are they
normal?
Dino? That's okay.
But they're the ones that taste kind of like Chick-fil-A nuggets.
Oh,
yeah,
fancy.
There's some better ones from Costco, but I haven't been to Costco in a minute, so I need to get those next time I go. And Costco has those little sausages that my aunt made this weekend that were really good. So thank you, Aunt Wendy, and thank you, Costco. I literally told you about them earlier, and you weren't listening.
Oh, those were the ones that are in your cooler.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I didn't know. You didn't say those were from Costco.
I did. This bitch doesn't listen to me.
Okay.
I don't listen either. It's fine.
It's okay. We're both guilty of it sometimes.
It's not on purpose. I just don't.
I know.
My brain can't retain
Brain no
things.
compute.
Brain no compute.
Brain no compute.
Brain on dial-up.
That's the amount of times in our friendship it's a, did I tell you that? Probably, but I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm just thinking back to one of our recent episodes or one of our last episodes where you were like, was it you that sent me this thing? And I was like, no, what was it? And she starts to explain it and I go, oh, I think I did see that. And then I finally go, oh, wait, I sent that to you.
That's our friendship in a nutshell. But we have such good communication other than us having the memories of goldfish.
Yeah. It makes it exciting when we get to tell stories again and again.
Because sometimes we genuinely forget.
Shut
up. I was really hoping you weren't going to call me out on that.
Yeah, well, you paused. If you hadn't paused, I would have let you get away with it.
Anyways, I love you.
I love you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. We'll tune in next week for
Saudi Arabia.
Saudis.
And
with that,
it's lights out and away we go. Bye.
Deuces.
I want chicken nuggets.
I want chicken nuggets too.